Thanks for stopping back. I wanted to jump on the MakerCoin bandwagon like everybody else seems to have. I needed some things to test prints out with, and it looks like I'm probably going to Murph coming up here in March, and figured it'd be neat to have a few MakerCoins to give out if anybody had a desire to grab one. So let me show you kind of the iteration that I went through and what I ended up with, as well as a quick run through on Fusion 360 on how I did it. There's a ton of videos out there, but we'll see. Stick around and see what I have. I'm Ron, and this is my place. So, Maker Coins. Angus did an awesome job kicking something like this off. Obviously, it's been the craze. Everybody's been making one. Figured it was about time that I jumped on board and did one as well. Ironically, the thing that kicked mine off was the pot base that's back there, and I really kind of liked the look of it, and it kind of made me start thinking about what I should do, and I shrunk it down and tried to print it out, and basically what I ended up coming up with was this. Didn't turn out bad, but it was a little bit. It has the good look on the back. Little profile. So it's really the same exact thing, just smaller. But it just really, I don't know. It just seemed kind of feeling cheap. I haven't totally decided. It's growing on me a little bit. But then I started playing with different possibilities. So the next one was this. Same basic idea. I just started playing with the edge a little bit. Came up a little bit thicker. Again, the whole idea of a maker coin is to not only print something, but actually use it some sort of a test print. So I wanted a little bit harder, and I printed this, and the overhang started getting a little rough looking, and I just didn't love the look of it. I was toying with the idea of a hole in it because I figured I could have a zip tie or something with a whole bunch of them on there as I was walking around. So I was playing with that. Again, the back is more or less the same, decent size. And then I started looking at it, and I was getting bored with the normal fill that you always see. But anyway, so that was another thing that went in. So then I played around a little bit more, tried to get a little bit more interest to it, and then it's getting thicker. It got a little bit better, but again, had the same look in the back. Everything else was pretty much the same. Still wasn't feeling it. It just felt too thin and weird. And then I basically decided that I would quit trying to reinvent the wheel, and I kind of liked the basic chunkiness of Angus's maker coin. Like, I think the 3D printing nerd Joel did the same thing, and there's a number of people that have used them or made them. So then I went ahead and made this one using the same concepts. And my thought behind this is that it's basically showing the nice edges, and it has a good indication of ringing if you had any ringing. It shows a curve, so you can actually see the curve print. It also has the kind of a concave piece here where you can actually see the layers really jump out in different ways. Again, wasn't loving the way the hatch is on the fill of the perimeters, and of course the same look here. This was again Prusa. So then I thought this was maybe a little bit small. I haven't fully decided. So then I went ahead and printed this one with a different type of filament. So got rid of the Prusa and it went bigger. And this is, I think, a little bit more beefy, but I don't necessarily know if it's overkill. Really started loving the way this filament prints, but I showed this in one of my other videos. And again, like, this one was really neat because the back was this amazing first layer. I mean, that's just, it was, I have no idea how it did it. And then I played around again with the infill settings, and you can see like on the first layer, it's actually almost like a hatch box. Yeah, of course it won't. But you can see there was a little bit of a mess up there, but you can see it's just a different layer. This was in Slick 3R Bruce Edition, and I really kind of enjoy it. It was interesting. You were able to select and have the different patterns and whatnot, and you can preview them in the preview. So anyways, that's the kind of the final one I came up with. I don't know if I'm going to stick with the infill perimeters and stuff on it, but I like them a lot. I think they turned out pretty good. So I'd really be interested to see what you all think. The two favorites that I have, I think, really are the small version of the planter pot, or the more typical maker coin. Let me know what you think. Which one do you think is a better maker coin? And then if anybody has preference, the different sizes too. Let me know what you think. My intent here for like these especially was going to use them for testing a bunch of different filaments to give me some standard. Anywho, thanks for watching. Stick around here and watch a run through of the video. So I thought I would take you through real quick to see what I actually did. So as I said, my original discussion and plan was going to be to utilize the pot tray and use that and turn that into a maker coin. So I used this and more or less just added the inset down below on the bottom with my Ron's place. And it printed out okay, it looks okay. I'm just not 100% sure if I like how thin it turned out. So then the next thing I ended up doing was modifying the same design, put a little hole in it, and just played with the edges a little bit, making it a little bit more interesting, but I didn't really love the way it came out. So I tried a third iteration, tried to add a little bit more interest into the side. It looked okay, didn't print the most wonderful, so I'm not a fan of this one either, but I did go thicker and it felt a little bit better. So then I ended up going with the last one, which was a more basic maker coin. Again, it was the same concept as before, where it's just a basic coin, and it's really just based off of the design that Angus and Joel and a bunch of other people have made. So I figured, why reinvent the wheel? So as you can see, all I really did was created a sketch that, because the idea behind this is, again, like everything, you just make your basic design and you come up with a profile that you wanted. And as you can see here, I just made a rectangle, add a little bit of a what is that called, and a conic curve here, and then here. Actually, I think this was an arc and this was the conic curve, just to give a little bit of interest and you know, make it look a little different. And at that point, you're going to select these pieces I wanted. I didn't really need the top piece, and I'm going to do a revolve. And when you do that, you end up with that. So the next step I did was I actually wanted to cut into the edges, so I just created a big circle to give me the cut I wanted, and then I extruded that with a cut, and then did a circular pattern here, circular pattern, and I just patterned that all the way around until I got the look that I wanted. After that, I did something, and I'm trying to see what I did. Um, oh, I think I filleted that. Yeah, I did a fillet over, as you can see. It went from this edge. I just wanted to take some of this harshness off, and then I just did a fillet over the edge there. Kind of made it a little rounder and look a little nicer. And at that point, I brought in my drawing, which is my logo. Ended up extruding that up. I brought it in on the bottom plane and ended up extruding that out, doing an offset. Um, I basically did an offset plane of 12 millimeters for my starting point, which was just under my base, and then I extruded that up uh, a set distance. Probably 1,000,010 different ways to do it, but that's the way I ended up doing it on this one, and it gave me the effect I wanted, which was that. So then the next thing I did was I scaled it up a little bit so it looked a little bit bigger and filled the space. And then I brought in the text for Ron's Place on the bottom and did a extrude on that, I believe, and then created the combined bodies. So now I had everything for a new maker coin, and that's literally all I did. Hopefully you like something there. If you think about it, give me a comment down below and let me know which of these two that you like the best. This one here, that's just your standard maker coin, or this smaller, thinner version that looks more like my planter pot thing. Let me know which one you think looks nicer, or any other input you may have for my maker coin. Thank you much, and thanks for watching. Have a good day and print everything you can.